Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Fish Market Academy, where we teach you how to fish for gains. So in today's video, we'll be exploring Kujira and its liquidation engine. And if you found this video useful, do remember to like, subscribe, and let's get started. And as usual, nothing I say is financial advice. So what is Kujira? Kujira is a team of developers helping to build decentralized applications for regular crypto users to level the playing field between the regular crypto users and the whales. Right now, they currently have 3 products in their suite: Orca, Beluga, and Blue. And Orca is a first-of-a-kind liquidation application that is already live on Terra, and you can use it right now already. Beluga is a multi-send protocol that allows users to send any native or basically COSM-WASM20 or basically Terra assets to multiple addresses simultaneously in a single transaction, which makes it a lot more convenient to send to multiple people at the same time. Blue is basically their dashboard where you can stake, you can provide liquidity, and then you can do your governance, etc. So what is Orca? Orca is essentially a liquidation bidding platform that enables anyone to bid on liquidated collateral on Anchor with UST. So if you borrowed UST against your B Luna position, you know that there is a liquidation price. If the price of Luna drops too much, then you might get liquidated. So you might be wondering who is doing the liquidation. With Orca, anyone with UST can go onto the Orca platform to bid on this liquidation, which allows them to actually get this Luna at a liquidation discount. Because when you get liquidated, there's a liquidation fee, and this fee goes to the people who are doing the liquidation. So with Orca, you can do a fire and forget strategy where you can basically just place bids at selected premiums between like 4% all the way up to 15-20% if you believe that there's going to be a severe black swan event, and then you can just forget about it. During a certain kind of crisis period maybe, then the price of Luna will drop very quickly, and that could create a lot of liquidations, and you could be the one that get to basically bid on these liquidations thanks to Orca doing everything behind the scenes. So how does Orca help the KUJI token? Essentially, when you use the Orca platform to bid on this collateral, a small portion is actually used for fees for Orca, which is then used to buy back KUJI. So that's how the revenue is generated for using Orca. So this is how the Orca interface looks like. Essentially, over on the right hand side, you can select which collateral you want to bid on, and then you can include a premium. So the higher the discount, the more discount you get when you bid on the collateral, but it also means that people in front of you who are bidding on a lower premium have to finish using their UST to bid on the collateral first before it's your turn. So if you bid on a very high premium, like for example 14% premium, or in this case actually discount, you have to wait for everyone else in front of you to basically finish all of the B Luna at a lower discount before it reaches your turn. So although you get a higher discount, most of the time you might not even get to your turn because the liquidations might not be that severe. So that's something to take note. Usually I think what I've seen so far is anywhere from a 5%, it starts to get a lot of bids. So that's something you can consider when you are using it. But you can go into the Orca platform and see for yourself what are the current bids on the various levels of premium. And in the event you do get a bid, you will actually see your B Luna available for withdrawal over here. This number over here, the ratio of pools to locked collateral value, basically just means the total percent of the total pool value in this entire pool divided by the total locked collateral value, 4 billion, which is the amount of B Luna in UST worth. So here's a summary again of how it works. You'll basically go to the website, connect your wallet, you choose the amount of UST that you would like to bid and your premium, as well as the collateral that you want to bid on. So there is right now B Luna and B ETH, but in the future there might be more. Then you click on the bid button, and then your bid will be activated after a short duration. I think it's between 1 to 5 minutes. But if your bid is over 5 million, you need 10 minutes to actually activate. So this is because you want to basically reward the people that came in to the liquidation queue earlier, and not get the people who are basically just trying to catch the crisis liquidation to then suddenly come in and then start to bid. So obviously the people that bid first should get the first slice of liquidation fees. And then when your bid hits, you can automatically withdraw your collateral, but you will have to pay a 1% fee in the collateral when you withdraw it, and this fee will then be used to automatically buy back KUJI. So you can place as many bids as you like, and you can also return or basically withdraw your UST from your bids just by withdrawing, and there's no like unstaking period, or there's no fees for withdrawing your UST. So in terms of opportunities, I think Kujira is coming in at a pretty timely moment because the amount of lending that is happening in the DeFi space is increasing pretty rapidly. In Anchor alone, it's actually the third largest lending protocol at around 8.54 billion in lending. If we take a look at Anchor, it's actually the third largest total value locked at around 8.54 billion. And in terms of the amount that is being borrowed is around 2 billion at the moment. And I think this will continue to grow as the value of UST and Luna continues to grow, and the opportunity to have Orca as the liquidation engine will grow as well, as it serves a larger market cap of assets that it can potentially help to liquidate. So what is Beluga? So Beluga is essentially a multi-send protocol that allows users to send any native or basically Terra tokens to multiple addresses simultaneously in just one transaction. And you can do it either in the form of percent share as well as individual amounts if you want to have more control over how much you send. But there is a small transaction fee of 0.25%, and this is primarily a convenience fee. So if you have a ton of people to send to, then this 0.25% fee might be worth the trouble, or instead of just sending it all individually one by one. So moving on, what is Blue? So Blue is basically their dashboard, and it's where you can do all of your standard stuff like swapping and to govern and to stake, etc. Right now, they also have an analytics dashboard. It's pretty bare bones, and to access it, you need about 300 KUJI UST LP, which is around 600 UST as of this video. And you get to see basically what is the most popular loan to LTV level, and from there you could sort of plan at what price you think Luna will go to get a lot of liquidation. So I've done the math. Basically at 37%. Let me show the math. So if you take a look over at this little liquidation calculator that I've created, basically if you type in the LTV that you're at, it shows you your liquidation price. And if you go to the Kujira app, and just now I showed that most of the liquidation is happening at 37%, then that means that if the price of Luna were to drop around 38.33%, it would bring the LTV all the way to 60%, and people will begin getting liquidated. And this drop of 38% brings it to around $50 around there. So you know that if the price of Luna were to drop below $50 in some kind of a crisis, things are about to get pretty fun in Kujira's liquidation queue, and you probably would enjoy some discounts on it as well if you are in the queue. So why would you want to use Kujira? It's the only protocol that basically allows us retailers to perform liquidations that bots are performing without actually knowing how to create a liquidation bot, which requires quite technical coding usually. And it allows even the smallest retail investors to gain access to cheaper assets during liquidations that they would have bought at a higher spot price if they are not liquidating. But the most important reason is that this is bullish for Luna's price stability, as it helps to cushion cascading liquidations with the power of consolidated retail money. So a lot of fishes together is going to provide quite a bit of money, even though one fish on its own might not mean much, but all of us together adding to the liquidation queue will help to cushion liquidations from happening, like the one that happened in May, where the price of Luna just free fall quite a lot, as the anchor liquidations basically didn't have enough cash to prevent any further liquidation. So that was a bad scenario, and I think with Kujira, that kind of scenario probably won't happen again, or it would happen probably a lot less. So what about the token itself? So KUJI serves as the native utility token of Kujira. Essentially, it's like BNB of sort, where you can get discount for using KUJI for your payment, and you get discounts between 50 to 90% of the UST value that you would normally pay for. However, when you are paying your fees in UST, it's then used to buy KUJI from the market, and it's then used to route into the liquidity pool for KUJI UST. So it increases the KUJI price due to the increased buying pressure, and it also increases the stability of the KUJI token because more and more KUJI UST is added into the liquidity pool, making the liquidity thicker. As more and more dApps come onto Kujira, or Kujira basically integrates with more lending protocols, right, it allows for more liquidations to happen across different types of lending platforms, across different chains, and this adds to more buying pressure for KUJI essentially. Additionally, there will be more value accrual for the KUJI token when there are more and more dApps coming onto Kujira. So imagine Mars, which is one of the very big lending protocol that is coming onto Terra, is also providing lending and borrowing services, and Kujira could also help with the liquidation queue for Mars. And imagine there is more and more of these lending platforms that Kujira integrate with, which creates more opportunities for Kujira to basically get value accrual as the demand for the KUJI token increases. So where does all the KUJI go to? It essentially goes into this lockbox that is basically forever stored until there is a community decision to use it for certain purposes. And like I mentioned earlier, all the fees that are paid, either when you withdraw Beluga or BEF, right, they are used to basically market buy KUJI and then sent into the lockbox. So this lockbox, I'll put the link down in the description below for you to take a look. It's actually a live link. You can see the amount of KUJI in that address keeps going up. And in the future, there will probably be more B assets coming onto Anchor. So you have like B Sol, which is imminent, and then you have like B Atom, etc. So when Kujira goes cross-chain, right, it essentially will have the same type of model, business model, and then the web versions of KUJI will be market bought using the assets on each respective chain like Polkadot, Ethereum, etc., etc. Okay, so let's take a look at the platform Fee Lockbox. So this slide has actually been done 2 weeks ago. So the numbers here are no longer accurate, but I can't seem to go to the website anymore. I'll also put this link down in the description below, but perhaps someone can direct me to the right link afterwards. Essentially, if you check, they have about 62,000 Kujira in the lockbox, and if you project this and analyze it, it's about 1.5 million in revenue for just Beluga and BF market alone. So you can imagine if they have more assets like B Sol or B Atom, there would be more and more revenue generated, and this would increase the intrinsic value of the KUJI token. So now let's take a look at the tokenomics. There has been some recent changes. So the airdrop, the 6% airdrop is burnt, and the staking rewards is burnt after around 2.5 months or so. So the total supply used to be 115 million, but it has been reduced to 119 million. Do take note that there is a first team cliff of 12 March, so do expect some volatility on the 12th of March. I did create an inflation schedule because I couldn't find the inflation schedule on the light paper. So I've also did up inflation schedule because I couldn't find one in their tokenomics. But this is the new inflation schedule after their burn. So there is only about 119 million tokens left after the total supply has been reduced. So this is roughly how it looks like. So to elaborate a bit more on what happened recently, basically the liquidity staking rewards will end on the 19th of January next year, and Kujira will be topping up the existing 1.5 million of protocol-owned liquidity from the 4% of liquidity on the tokenomics table just now. So this liquidity will continue to receive the 0.3% fees from trades. So the lockbox will now distribute the fees that it collected across all the Kujira applications to governance stakers who participate in certain campaigns like marketing campaigns or like Twitter campaigns, in order to reward them proportional to their total staked amount. So this removes the need for tokens allocated to the rewards and airdrops, and basically they burnt around 20% of the supply that I mentioned, and 1% of the amount that was burnt is given to Angel Protocol as a form of charity, I assume. So the staking rewards burning hasn't happened, but the proposal has already been passed, and the burning will happen on the 3rd of January. So the token price might increase after the burning event. We shall see. That's just speculation, not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. So in terms of the roadmap, they are making a super dashboard which gives you like additional premium features, and you could even see the average return for staking UST. In this example, perhaps like what is the most popular percent to bid on, what's the average return for the different percent that you bid on, etc. So they might be doing those kind of analytics. Not confirmed yet, but this is what I speculate. But they did also mention that you will need 5,000 KUJI UST LP tokens. So this is quite a bit. Right now the price of KUJI is around $1 plus. So that is about $5,000 to $6,000 worth of value in total, but it does give you access to more unique features. They are also looking to add new collateral markets. So once BSOL comes onto Anchor, probably Kujira will have BSOL on its application soon after that as well. And I don't think this is priced in. And BSOL is a volatile asset, and it's also a very big market cap. So I think this would add a lot of additional revenue to the KUJI protocol. So after using the platform for a bit, I came up with some suggestions. Basically, when you get the collateral, it would be pretty handy if you could auto sell the BLUNA into UST as an option. Additionally, Kujira can allow the use of AUST, which is basically UST inside of Anchor Earn, in order to improve the capital efficiency so that your UST, while it's waiting for bidding, is still generating income. But they could use the earnings from AUST to actually buy back KUJI. So when bidding is happening, when liquidations are happening, right, the Kujira could automatically, or Orca could automatically withdraw AUST into UST, then take a small portion to buy back KUJI, and then use the UST for liquidation bidding. So both parties win, right? The user still gets a bit of interest. The user should get the bulk of the interest, but KUJI earns a little bit for helping to facilitate this convenience. For Orca's analytics dashboard, I think it's quite bare bones for now. I'm not sure what the super dashboard will include, but some ideas could be having different tiers. So, like in SaaS product, software as a service, you have like your normal, you have your premium, and then you have like your, super premium. And the higher tiers can include things like having historical volatility of Luna, because options are getting a bit popular, and there are already option protocols for Luna on Solana chain. Right, so that can actually be very useful. If you think like volatility has been low for a while, then maybe you want to start bidding, because it might be a sign that it can start to increase in the volatility. There can also be on-chain alerts, like for example, when a certain whale decides to unstake their Luna, you can get alerted and you can see like when is it going to be able to move that Luna, or if people are moving Luna into exchanges. If there's a large amount, then Kujira could potentially give an alert. Also, the bringing back to point number 2, if KUJI is allowing people to use AUST, which I really think they should, there could be a toggle for people to only use AUST if they have a higher percent of the KUJI stake, or for example, the amount that AUST used to buy back KUJI, it could be lower if they are on a higher plan. So this incentivizes people to be buying more and staking more KUJI. And these are just suggestions, so that could sound very, very unfriendly to the retail, right? It's supposed to be created for the retail. So some of these suggestions might not be appropriate, but they're just suggestions that could increase the value of KUJI. But we need to find a balance between what's good for the price and what's good for the overall ecosystem. So I'll leave that to KUJI to decide. So in conclusion, I think Kujira is a very critical protocol, and it helps the Terra ecosystem to become healthier and more decentralized. More decentralized because it allows for whenever liquidations happen, right? Usually bots get all of the liquidated assets, and bots are usually done by people who are already pretty rich, because they have a lot of money to put into the bot to liquidate the collateral. And when you do Orca, when you do it through Orca, it makes it more decentralized, because anyone can actually use Orca to bid on this decentralized, bid on this liquidated collateral, which makes the whole collateral slightly more decentralized compared to always having this rich whale liquidating people. Yeah, so that's good for the ecosystem as a whole. And once there are more bonded assets onto Terra, which is only a matter of time if Anchor wants to get more and more revenue from the other bonded assets, right, there will be more opportunities and more value accrual for the KUJI token as well. So I feel that the additional liquidation revenue that is coming in from cross-chain is really not priced in, but it is speculative because you don't know when that's going to happen, and then there's opportunity cost for pricing such events in too early. But I really feel like if all of this BSOL, BAtom, etc. were to come onto KUJI, and the market next year might be very volatile, right? I think the price of KUJI is not really factored in, and the revenue is probably going to go up a lot, which is also not priced in. But those are speculative in nature, so it is fair to not price them in as well. So ultimately, do your own research and invest with caution. And if you enjoyed this video, do remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys again soon. Bye!
Baby fish, do 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 do, baby fish. understood.